Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV story time. Today's story is called What Happens in Final Fantasy XIV After Midnight. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Have you ever gone to any of the taverns, dance clubs, gambling joints, or other establishments that are advertised in the Party Finder? I have. I am not heavy into serious RP, but I love housing, and the designs on some of the clubs that I have visited are really cool and inspiring. People are so creative in this game. I've been to a giant yacht in the void, a wooded misty witch's lair, a glittery blue disco, and so many more incredible environments created by players. I like to go to a RP club after I have had a long night of raiding, to wind down to a virtual cocktail, lose some gil in blackjack, or just to pass time, just enjoying a vibe created by other players and observing everything, trying on everyone's glam and reading their search info. There's no rule that says you can't just enjoy a club that is advertised to the public on Party Finder. You don't have to be an expert RPer or know all the lore of the game to be able to enjoy an RP club. One night, we were running Hades Extreme when it was relevant. So this was a few years back. I was running with my best friend at the time, JJ. JJ was so witty and funny, he would make me laugh all the time. He would talk in all different accents, which would make me laugh so hard I would practically fall off my chair. JJ was just a ball of energy. He was a great player and always patient and kind with others. JJ was very religious and would not play FF on the Sabbath. I suspected he was also a virgin, as are many people who are waiting to be married to have sex for the first time. Nothing wrong with that. He was really the sweetest guy. So decent and pure. He occasionally had love life troubles that he confided in me about. I was sure that someday he would meet a nice girl that could appreciate all the wonderful things about him. People used to think we were a couple, but we weren't. We were just friends. I think JJ actually liked me for my personality as a friend and player, which just shows you what an honorable kind of guy he was. After we were done farming Hades for the night, I suggested that we go to a club. I wanted to share how fun it was with my friends. So JJ, I, and a couple other people from our group went out to a club. And it was a not safe for work club. And there were scantily clad catgirls giving lap dances there. JJ surprised everyone with the news that he had just given someone 350k for a lap dance. I was shocked. Not JJ. Innocent, sweet JJ. No way. We all thought it was great fun though, and laughed our heads off as he was secreted away into a private room. He was silent or muted himself in the call for a long time, and then finally emerged. Poor JJ was visibly shaken up. I wasn't sure what happened with the lap dance, but I really wanted to know. Unfortunately, dear reader, I am not able to transcribe for you the events that transpired between sweet innocent little JJ and this professional lap dancer. Sorry. Boy, I really wanted all the gory details, but JJ never did tell me, even though I begged him for screenshots. But no. Poor JJ didn't really talk for the rest of the evening, and then later sort of semi-explained to me that he had sinned by participating in the ERP with the lap dancer and was feeling horribly guilty. Oh, it took him about 2 weeks to get over it. I tried to convince him that it was virtual sex, so it wasn't really sex. So it wasn't really a sin, only a virtual sin. But JJ was set on beating himself up about it. I felt like JJ just lost his virtual virginity with a virtual prostitute, and even though he was willing at the time, he definitely regretted it, and I felt terrible. No one twisted his arm to do that though. No one had anything to do with it at all. He did it all on his own. If I had pushed him into doing something like that, I would have never forgiven myself. Poor JJ. The fall from grace. growing up is hard to do. I myself have still never paid for RP from a courtesan or escort in the game, although I have thought about it, since it might make a good story. Alright, go do that and submit it. Maybe a story for another time. ERP, Investigative Report, Undercover. But I digress. After JJ recovered from his illicit run-in at the Not Safe for Work club, we went back to farming Hades for the mount and mats. We were running with our friend Heaven. Heaven was a dancer and had a big personality. I loved her. I was really happy that JJ was back to normal, although a little less innocent now. He was laughing again and using accents again and seemed good again. We finished farming at about 2 a.m. in the morning. Heaven and JJ and I decided that we should put up a PF for a club at my house. How hard could it be? We had seen other people do it, so why couldn't we? For example, it's kind of how I feel about tanking. If tanks do it, how hard can it be? That's a little joke. Since JJ had now seen the dark side of RP and barely survived it, we decided to keep our club safe for work. I wasn't interested in selling sex anyway. I wanted a different experience for our club that did not include that. We were just throwing around ideas, and we thought it would be very funny as hell to dress in swimsuits and give our guests free coke. That's safe for work, right? Very wholesome. It's not real cocaine, it's actually distilled coal. So it's not like we were giving people real drugs. But it made the atmosphere a bit more exciting because it was a little naughty and playful. We figured all we needed was a greeter, which would be me, a bartender, which would be JJ, and a dancer who would be Heaven. We thought it was a hilarious idea at the time, so I went to the Serpent Quartermaster and spent a bunch of Grand Company seals on coke and hit the market board for ingredients to make some purple carrot juice, which I thought was kind of like purple drank. Say this with a southern accent, says OP. Purple drank? Am I doing it right? If you don't know what that is, it's a mixture of prescription cough syrup with candy and soda, but it's also called lean or scissorp. But I digress again. Sounds yummy, right? LOL. Not something I have ever tried in real life, but I thought it fit the situation. The purple carrots were expensive, so JJ went out and gathered a bunch of purple carrots and pixie apples, and we quickly crafted a stack of our purple drank. We bought a few new things for the house. I slapped down a couple hot tubs and plopped a bar down in the middle of them. My house at the time had a downstairs room full of pillows and beds and plushies, which I dubbed the Boom Boom Room. We decided to call our new club After Midnight, and I went and changed my placard to reflect the new name of the estate and put in a welcoming greeting. I set up a quick stage for Heaven with a wooden loft high above the dance floor in the upstairs and glade lamps around it for footlights. We were finally ready to open, and I put up the party finder. After Midnight is open! Complimentary food, drink, and hospitality. And free coke! After just a few minutes, people started to trickle in. You would be surprised how many people are online and bored at 3 a.m. Within about 20 minutes, there was at least 20 people in our new club, chatting, drinking our purple drank. I sauntered around the place, RP walking up and down the stairs in my Solar Summer halter and tanga, which I refer to as my naked bikini, because my Hure has a beautiful golden tan on her skin, and when I wear that bikini, you almost can't see the bikini at all. Ah, naked. Instead of waiting for customers to order, I just initiated a trade with them and gave them some coke and some purple drank. People were responding in different ways. Some thought it was funny, others were a bit shocked, but they didn't get mad or leave. They just started to relax into the atmosphere of the party. I DJ'd on the orchestrion, putting on a different playlist of songs. When they had all played through, I was proud of my orchestrion roll collection and changed the music through the night so that people would not have to listen to the same songs play over and over again, because that drives me nuts. So do unto others, am I right? JJ was an amazing bartender. He could talk to anyone about anything. His sincere kindness and friendly charisma just oozed all over the bar. Heaven danced with her little heart out that night, using all sorts of dancer actions and emotes to create a dynamic show of lights and motion. I sashayed around in my naked bikini, making sure everyone was full of coke and purple drank. Sounds like a great atmosphere. Everyone seemed happy in a big happy bubble. We went on for hours until about 5 a.m. when we finally decided to close. As one guest left, he traded me 1,000,000 gil just for being me. I was elated and shared the gil with JJ and Heaven. After everyone left, you could still feel the ethereal energy in the air of the house from all the people who had been there. After Heaven and JJ left, I stayed in the house until I fell asleep, marveling over this feeling and reliving the night, since I felt that it was super successful for our first night and I was on a definite high from it. We decided to open on 2 nights of the week, not the Sabbath, since JJ had to take that day off. Several people messaged us and wanted to be part of it, so we took on 2 wait people, Lulu and Coco. So now we had a staff of 5. We would put on our looking to meld materia online status to show everyone that we were working. JJ and I came up with a menu that we thought would fit the theme of the place. A little naughty, but at the same time wholesome and lighthearted. We had cockatrice meatballs, raw oysters, and jerked beef for savory selections. Jerked beef. And frozen spirits, cheesecakes, and bubble chocolate for desserts. We went out gathering and then made enough food and drinks to last a long time. In fact, to this day, I still have old meatballs in my retainers. I like the concept of giving away everything for free, but since I want people to work in the club, I decided to pay them all 100k an hour to work at after midnight. They could keep any tips that they got as well. This kept my employees happy as they could make 300k gil for working for 3 hours and hopefully have fun doing it. I had 2 or 3 friends who at the time were constantly performing on Bard, and I invited them to come and play live music in my upstairs when we opened. I paid them also for their time, so now we featured live music, a dancer, and a bar and grill. JJ and I redid the design of the house and created 5 large semi-private tub rooms in the downstairs in a maze of walls and arches. And we kept the boom boom room in the back for naps. You sure people were napping in there? So now, after midnight was being billed as a safe for work, ultra casual bathhouse, bar and grill featuring live music. I advertised on a couple of Discords that I had been shown by some customers, and our club was always busy and full of people. I made a Discord for after midnight and invited all our employees so we could laugh and talk while the club was open. We would all get in the voice channel and it was a fun time, full of a lot of laughter and camaraderie. Since it was technically my house and I was the boss, a character trait that I seemed to fall into rather easily, I preferred for all my employees on male characters to work with no shirts on. They didn't seem to mind, but sometimes they would forget, so I had to remind them. I thought it was funny to have a macro that would scream, "No shirts!" and then grovel on the floor. So when my male employees forgot and wore their clothes by mistake, I would yell at them, "No shirts!" and then grovel. We did all our venue chat in the Say chat, which I also preferred for anyone talking who was not having a private adult conversation, so that everyone could hear what was going on. I found that much more immersive and inclusive. That's true. I really wish people would talk more in the Say chat. A lot of people are shy, I get that, but I like reading the Say chat, and I know not a lot of people really talk in the Say chat. In Limsa, I feel like the crazies talk in the Say chat. We made some macros to describe our menu for our wait people, and I made a few greeting macros. I didn't want it to seem like we were so lazy that we would just hit macros all night, so I encouraged everyone to talk freely and try to talk a lot. Our guests would say how they loved the hospitality in our club. I didn't really talk that much. I mostly just would walk around and serve people. People loved the individual tub rooms. Sometimes guests would like to be in there alone, just meditating in the steam. Other times, whole parties of people would cram in a tub room. The Boom Boom Room was always popular with guests. Once they found it, it was usually full of people the entire night. People lounging on beds and pillows and having a wonderful time. It was JJ who really was the spirit of the place. With his energy that was so welcoming and genuine, he made people feel comfortable and wanted, and the bar stools were always full with people who just came to see him and be in his presence. Everything was going great. It was Heaven's birthday and I had redecorated the whole club, dyeing everything lotus pink and changing the walls to the spotted interior wall because Heaven loved pink. I put name day cakes on every table and crafted 100 hempen hats, dyeing them different shades of pink and purple, and gave one to each guest. People were so cute, they actually wore them. That night, everything changed. JJ had met a girl. She came to after midnight to work too. Her name was Doxy. Except that Doxy didn't work. She mostly just stood around, and JJ came from behind the bar to stand next to her. And they were just standing in the middle of the floor all night, obviously talking to each other in whispers. Doxy was an aura girl, and I sort of wanted to slap her. OP! The way she was standing annoyed me. What do you mean? I'm an aura girl, and does the way I stand annoy people? The way her feet turned in like, oh, I'm just a skinny little wife. Ooh woo. The vacant look on her scaly face. I saw where this was going. These weren't my IRL employees, so I couldn't really say, hey JJ, get your back behind that bar and take your shirt off. So I kind of watched things unfold in dismay. When JJ wasn't behind the bar anymore, people weren't getting his attention or his awesome vibes anymore. I knew deep in my black heart that this was the kiss of death for after midnight. Oh no. I'm sure you probably could guess that the next thing that happened was that JJ and Doxy announced they were getting bonded, and they wanted me to host their reception at after midnight. I redecorated again for them, putting up a beautiful blue and gold theme. We all went to their wedding at the chapel and then came back to after midnight, where I took screenshots of them having their first dance and served special pineapple cake and juice to all their guests and friends. After that, the shine seemed to wear away from after midnight. JJ was no longer really interested in being behind the bar and charming all the customers. He was Mauied. That's how the OP wrote it. Instead of married, it's Mauied. He's Mauied now. Boring. For the rest of us, anyway. Things just kind of imploded, like an abandoned building being demolished. I had still been paying all the employees, and when they started to flake and not come to work, I kind of got mad and just deleted the after midnight Discord. Whatever. Sometimes I do impulsive things, so sue me. I don't know if JJ and Doxy are still together. I see JJ online occasionally. He started ultimate raiding soon after we stopped opening after midnight, and I know he's knocked out a couple of ultimates since then. If I do see him, we exchange pleasantries. I still care about him. Things just changed, is all. He's not my best friend anymore. I miss the guy. He was really funny. Aw, you lose your friends sometimes when they get coupled up, don't you? When people get coupled up in Final Fantasy XIV, they just start doing everything with their girlfriend or boyfriend, right? It's like they do all their dailies with them. Like they don't even invite people sometimes. They're like, oh, okay, they're just coupled up. They're a thing now. Guess we can't really do friend things anymore with them. It is like that sometimes. Just like so many things in life, after midnight came and went. The game Final Fantasy XIV is a sparkling version of us, a beautiful reflection of our humdrum lives, a glittering microcosm of love, relationships, and time. And here we were, alone again, starting over. So came the end of an era, No more after midnight. No more naked bikini RP walking. No more no shirts macro. No more free coke. The end. End of a phase. Friends come and go in this game. Or in life, really. Right? Don't you ever look back and you're like, man, those were good days with them. And now we're all grown up and we're all working and it's so hard to hang out. Stuff like that. Also with Final Fantasy, you start hanging out with a friend group and then, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've been in 2 different friend groups already. People come and go. Stop, you'll make me sad. Yeah, we can all relate with this, right? When you started playing Final Fantasy 14, chat, I'm sure you have a different friend group back then to who you're playing with now. Yeah, things always change, but it's fun to remember the good times. Yeah, there's good times because there's bad times. No more purple drank. Well, yeah, that should have been at the end. No more purple drank. I wonder if there's any Final Fantasy 14 friend that you'll still be like, me or some of you guys will still be friends with when we're like old, when we're like grandmas and grandpas already. Do you think we'll be like, remember that game Final Fantasy 14? That was fun. Okay, what do I categorize that story under, guys? What did you think? Was that drama? Was that just story time? Was that fun story? I don't know where to put it. We'll be playing the new Final Fantasy we'll be playing the new Final Fantasy MMORPG far in the future, baby. Yeah, that's true. It's somewhat drama. Oh, okay, somewhat drama. People will be listening to me read it, and then like 80% through it, they're like, where the hell is the drama? You played Final Fantasy 14? Wow, Grandma, you're so old. I'm playing Final Fantasy 35. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this story. If you have any of your own fun Final Fantasy 14 stories that you'd like me to share and read out, feel free to reach out to me on my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra. And a big thank you to my kind members who support my YouTube content.